Secretary of Health and Human Services and head of CMS will be on Capitol Hill tonight working with some of our members who, at least so far, have had some difficulty in getting to yes. Let me describe what yes is. It's the motion to proceed. We cannot keep the commitment we made to the American people to repeal and replace Obamacare unless we get on the bill. So next week we'll be voting to get on the bill. I would remind those of you who don't cover Capitol Hill that this particular type of bill is totally open for amendment. There's no way I or anybody else could prevent members from having amendments that any 51 of us can pass and change the bill, but we cannot have a debate until we get on the bill. So next week we'll be voting on the motion to proceed, and I have every expectation that we'll be able to get on the bill.
Senator McConnell, the President today seemed to veer back to his original position. It looks like the direction you were going in the Senate was merely to repeal and replace at a later date. But today the President stressed several times the need to do it all at once.
Yeah,
where are you with that?
Yeah, I think we have two options here. There is a large majority in our conference that want to demonstrate to the American people that they intend to keep the commitment they made in 4 straight elections to repeal Obamacare. I think we all agree it's better to both repeal and replace. But we could have a vote on either. And if we end up voting on repeal only, it will be fully amendable on the Senate floor. And if it were to pass without any amendment at all, there's a 2-year delay before it kicks in. So the takeaway from what I'm telling you is no harm is done by getting on the bill. Wide open for amendment. No matter what I offer as a substitute first, it's fully amendable.
Well, Leader McConnell, given the President's comments today, and following up on that question, are you experiencing some political whiplash here?
Well, it's pretty obvious we've had difficulty in getting 50 votes to proceed. But what I want to disabuse any of you of is the notion that we will not have that vote next week. We're going to vote on the motion to proceed to the bill next week.
And Leader McConnell, that doesn't work.
Cancel all of August recess.
We're going to have a vote on the motion to proceed to the bill next week. Thanks, everybody.
Do you see the Republicans own health care now? Do Republicans own?
Okay, so that was that. So that is a man who has been known as the master tactician, right, in all things getting votes going his way. That is the Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, maybe a bit frustrated, here on what's happened in Washington over this whole repeal and replace / repeal now replace later, neither of which seem to be coming to fruition if you do the math. Let's talk to Jamie Gangel here, our special correspondent at CNN. And I know you've been talking to Republicans just on how they've been feeling in general. But first, the Senate Majority Leader, he's not normally, you don't see him like this.
No. There's an expression back in the day before Trump, he was able to get these things done. He had a lot of discipline. He could get it passed. Not so much anymore, and I think this is very frustrating for him.
What do you make of this whole, just even reading Phil Mattingly, who's in the weeds on all of this for us in Capitol Hill, saying, listen, a lot of these Senate Republicans are frustrated. They wanted to, if they were going to have a vote, have it today, not let this whole thing fester and linger for 5 to 7 days on whether it's repeal and replace or repeal. Again, the math isn't there. So what are you hearing from Republicans?
And so there are two things. Frustration is a mild word. I didn't even have to call people yesterday and today.
They were calling you.
They were calling to say that they're just it's horrible, it's terrible, it's unimaginable, and they are really concerned not just about this, but with the constant drip, drip, drip of the stories about ties to Russia, of the eighth man. They just feel it's whack-a-mole. They never know what's going to come next. A quick quote from one who said, this is a senior Republican, been around a long time, said, quote, "It's impossible to defend Trump because you know, or at a minimum fear, that more is always coming, and then it does." So it's very hard to get substance done when also you have all of these other things in the mix.
But I think another key point, just reading your notes that you've gotten, you say this source actually didn't think that there was anything, referring to the eighth man or maybe even the Putin-Trump meeting, the source didn't actually think that there was anything untoward, truly untoward going on, just thinks they don't know what they're doing.
Right. They think naive, disciplined. Donald Trump conducting business the way he used to conduct business in New York doesn't work when you have this meeting with Putin that all of a sudden maybe there's no there there. Maybe it's all okay. Maybe nothing's going to come from the investigation. But when you conduct yourself this way, when there's no discipline about it, then it's causing problems that they don't need. And the word I keep hearing is distracting in Washington. That's the polite word for we can't get anything else done because we're dealing with all of these things.
As we're having this conversation, guys, let's throw up the cover of the People magazine that's landing on some newsstands today. I mean, this is the magazine. My mom reads People. I mean, people all around the country read People, and you see this front cover, the Trump family secrets and lies. And apparently one of the quotes in there is about Don Jr. saying that he's miserable, can't believe he has to live, with 3.5 years to go with his father in the White House. What do you make of that?
So, absolutely, at every checkout counter.
Yeah.
One Republican texted me yesterday, please make this stop. And it's not, I don't know about the details of that story, but when you look at that cover of People magazine, we're just 6 months in. This is supposed to be the honeymoon. This is supposed to be at home with the Trumps, at home with the Obamas.
The smiling first family.
That
on
exactly.
The cover of People magazine.
That looks like a tabloid.
It does. It does. It does. Jamie Gengel, always with the good scoop. Thank you so much.